Hi, Embers. Welcome for our Astral interview today. How are you?
I'm fine, dear. How are you?
I'm doing well too. It's been a while since we've reconnected, and we didn't really get to do this 10 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
So we're
Was
doing so we're
was it
doing it now.
only 10 years ago? Seems
Maybe it
like a
was a little
long.
bit more than that. Maybe it was a
Yeah,
little bit. It feels forever.
yeah.
So what So we never got to do, since we never got to do this 10 years ago, let's talk about you first. And let's talk about Embers and Embers' life. And let's start with where you grew up. What was your life like as a child?
I was born in Canada, in Toronto, Ontario, and we were taken to Winnipeg to grow up. My mother was a single parent
Mm-hmm.
in Winnipeg, and we grew up pretty wild kids. We had fun. We had a good time.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And so I don't know. It's so funny. It's like my childhood is I'm remembering it more with all this stuff going on and with all the Black Lives Matter and everything because we were going through that then,
Yeah.
like in the 60s and 70s.
Ah,
Yeah. So
yes, I
it's
imagine.
so it just takes me back sometimes to my childhood when I watch what's happening with all of that right now. And it's nice to
Ah,
see it. They're trying to take it
so
one step
so
further.
how does it compare?
Well,
So how does it compare really from back then?
back then it was so much racism at that time that um like we kept together just for safety reasons. Like it was racism was really bad in Winnipeg. It was, and so when that happened, it opened up more. Like it opened up less racism and it opened up like people were more curious about Black people after that, right? It wasn't so
Right,
racist because racism in Canada is so
right.
subtle, right? It's very subtle. It's not they're not in your face like they do, they're subtle about it, right? So in the States
Yeah,
at least you know where you stand.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it was like in spite of that you had fun though, right?
Oh yeah, we always managed to have fun. My mom made sure we all looked after each other, right? Like we all stuck together and
Right,
we were curious kids and we managed to get in as much trouble as we could without being
right.
spotted because we were usually the only Black kids in the neighborhood, so we couldn't be too bad.
So then, so tell me about the spiritual side of things. How does the spiritual life enter Ember's Moore's reality?
My mother always told me that my grandmother was into herbs and into spirituality. And my grandfather always said that. Like, and so when I was young and I started breaking out in pimples and stuff, she would say, "Go in the cupboards and go in the fridge and get some honey and get some oatmeal, wash
Right,
your face with that and use beer for your hair, like and stale beer to condition your hair." And like she was always giving me all these suggestions because I'd break out from the stuff she bought at the store because my skin was so sensitive, right? And so I just
right,
started experimenting as a kid with natural products like that were right in the cupboard, or she'd go get them for me if I told her, suggested something. So I started making my little potions and
right,
concoctions like when I was like 12 or 13. I started doing stuff like that, right? Yeah, but it's like
right.
yeah,
So you
yeah. Are you there?
So so from a very young age, you were sort of groomed by your grandparents to make potions and things like that yourself and work
Mm,
with herbs. Is that correct?
yeah,
So would
and
you consider, so would you consider yourself a herbologist then?
I don't have official papers, but I do. I've been making my own skin creams and hair products for the last 20 years. Then there's no alcohol.
Wow.
They're water-based products. There's no alcohol in them. There's nothing unnatural in them. You can eat them, you know. And I
Right.
just finished with cancer,
So,
and I didn't do the radiation with the cancer. I made my own products with cannabis, which was great.
and you're cancer free now, correct?
Yes, yes. I just found out for it's just over a year. Last June, I had the operation, so I'm cancer free.
Well, you
Oh,
certainly look healthy.
oh, thank you. I feel really good today. I'm having a
Excellent.
good day today.
So tell us about some of the events you do, some of the workshops, and some of
um,
the some of the
the
some of the sessions.
um, I do African divination bone and tarot readings. So I take a little package of
Wow.
bones.
First of all, you'll have to tell us what that is.
It's reading rock, stones, bones, and shells, and I use African tarot. I had my bones here somewhere; they disappeared. And I do African tarot. See this little container here has all my bones in it that I use, right? And I throw them down on
Right.
a mat. It's a mat that's pretty much looks like an astrology wheel, but it's like African based. And I throw the bones down, and it gives you a look at your life, you know, but it's like an inside outside in look. Like you get a vision of who you are in your life, your emotional state, the people involved in your life, um, events that are happening. Like it's very clear, and it'll keep going at if there's something you need to look at, it'll keep showing up in different areas until you get it, basically. So I,
Oh
it's
no.
a very strong. Yeah, when I used to do psychic fairs, I had some psych nurses that there was about 6 of them that came to my table to watch it, and they said this is like having an evaluation, a psych evaluation during watching you do this
Right.
reading. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow,
Oh
right?
wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty, it's involved, but it
So
gives
do
you a,
you?
yeah.
So let's say I come to you. What would you do if I came to you and I said I wanted a psychic reading from you?
First of all, we'd have I chat a little bit to see what's kind of going on in your life, you know. So um, just to get a get in tune with your energy field and just to tune in with you, and then
Okay.
I'd put the bones out and I'd get you to blow on them and I'd throw them down on the mat, and then we'd start reading what was going on in your, you know, what's happening in your life. And you know, the good thing about it is it tells about your emotional state and just the areas that you might be having, like what areas of your life. It can be your home life, your business life, you know, with your friends, you know, where the problems, the issues are, you know, your finances,
Right. And
like, yeah. So it kind of gives you an idea, you know, if you're stuck, if you're emotionally stuck, if you're successful, you know, if you, maybe there's a message that you need to hear, you know, about that area to help you move through it. So I'm helping people move through their stuff and to get forward, like the river gets dammed up. It's like opening the dam and getting things moving again.
I'm gonna pause. Hold on. So
So
you're
this,
gonna
can you
show
see
us
this?
now?
Yeah, the mat.
Yeah, I can see that.
This is the mat that I use. And if you see, it's kind of like an astrology wheel. It has the little sections like a pie.
Can you? Yeah. Can you just move it across the screen a little slower? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of shaped like a pie.
Yeah.
And what I do is I'm just going to use a few of these bones. So do you have a question about something in your
Okay.
life that you would like to address?
Do I have a question about something in my life? Do you have a question about something in my life? I don't right now. Okay, so how successful is what I'm thinking about going to be? How's that?
Your career. Okay, I'm just going to take out a few things that would pertain to the success of this, of what you're doing.
So is there like, are there like different bones for different things? Are they
So
special bones or it can be any bones?
these are chicken bones that I've
Yeah,
used. And you have to, you
right,
don't use anyone else's bones, you use the ones that you've energized, or else it can affect who you are using other people's
right,
energy, right? So I have the little
right,
red mark, which is the female, and the ones with the blue are the male. And the bigger ones usually are the male, and the smaller ones are the female, right? And so it depends how it falls. If it falls like flat, then it's with the colored part up, then it shows that you're positive about what you're doing in your life. But if it flips over like that, then it shows that you're not happy with what's happening with yourself. And this bone will fall in any of the 12 houses, like an astrology will. So it'll show you, oh, you could not be happy at home, or maybe you're not happy with your career, or maybe you're not happy with your relationship, so it tells you that,
right,
so you have one. And so this one is your dreams. This little rock I use is the dreams and your wishes. And this shows you
right,
what area of your life your dreams are going to happen. Like, so what dreams are
right,
coming to fruition, right? This is something where this is the one I found on the beach, and it's a little twisted shell. And I use this to show people how their thinking or whatever it is they're going through is twisted up. Like, you have to change because you're twisted up in the way you're dealing with this situation, right? So, and there's some for healing,
right.
there's some for time. So they all I have a whole container full of them, and they all have a different meaning, but how they fall on the mat gives it more meaning too, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
So you just throw them down on the mat with your eyes closed, and where they fall is what you read,
yeah, actually I get the person
right?
that I'm reading with. Either if I'm doing a phone reading, then I just get them to, I tune into them and I get them to kind of, I align with the ancestors and the cycles of life and all that is, and circle ourselves so that we're the center of our world. And you just kind of, come into my space. We come into each other's space very safely, and I shake up the bones and I throw them down. And I can do group readings with the bones too. Like if there's a group, I get people to pick a couple of bones, and then they bring, and I tell them to take a picture of it with their phone so they remember what it is, and then we'll throw the bones down. And I've been very successful with that one because I've had talked about it, people's family members and stuff that come up and they're like, what are you talking about? And then later on they tell me you were right, But it's so you're having some issues of the heart so that you're not wanting to really deal with. But you have opportunity coming as far as the work that you're doing, the tediousness, all the stuff that you're doing. It seems like you're focusing on that, and it's kind of twisted, some of the stuff that you have to do, like, but you have a lot of opportunities coming to you because of what you're
Right,
doing, and it looks like there's a lot of healing in endings for you. Like there's a lot of healing and letting go right now, and
right,
yeah, so you're doing so much healing just by letting go. The more you let go, the more you're giving yourself, right? But there's a lot of emotional stuff for you, as far as your belief system. I guess it's just letting go of the thinking too, right? You know, it's the belief about
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but
You're absolutely right.
you're letting go of a lot of stuff from the past. As far as your belief system goes, you're letting go. You're just letting go, and that's where your dreams are coming true. With your belief system, I guess you've been wanting to be more open to something, and it's like happening for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you're bringing in some new guides. You're bringing in some new information, and this is because you're letting go. Like it's just emotional stuff is what's holding you back. So once you clear the emotions, I feel like there's a big door there that's opening up for you. It's like, woo! Yeah, like
Awesome.
I'm getting a message about the emotional stuff that you're going through right now was meant to happen because it was meant to be like the catapult to push you forward on your spiritual journey to where you're heading right now, right? Yeah, it's big. It's really big what's happening with you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to tell you one more thing.
So then let me ask you. So the bones you have, can anybody do this, or there has to be some spiritual gift that they have to be able to do this?
You know, I was working in a salon when this young man came by to get a haircut, and then I was cutting his hair, and he kept saying, the next time we do a psychic fair together, I looked at him, I'm like, I'm not a psychic. But people would come into the salon and ask me to put my healing hands on them because they had a headache or they were stressed out. And I'm like, I have somebody to do shampoos. I'm not I'm not a shampoo girl, right?
Right.
And this was in 1980 and in the mid 80s. And so I figured out then that I needed to do something. I closed my salon down. I was looking for, like, he told me to learn how to read cards. I couldn't figure them out. I found a book on divination, and I sat him down and I said, look, I've got these bones. And I just picked up the ones, they said to get these bones, and they put meaning to them. And I made a mat and I threw them down, and he got up and he says, I'm booking you in for the next psychic fair. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not a psychic, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's the journey that it started there, right? So the bones was just natural for me. But I don't know if other people might not find it as that's just my thing. But there's people that want to learn. I can teach people how to read the bones. Like, I'm willing to do the workshops if they want to learn how to read the bones, right?
Wow. Well, we'd love for you to do a workshop for us. But before we go there, you jumped from somebody as a child who's working with their grandparents and learning about herbs just by what your grandparents are telling you to I'm a psychic. So what happened between that time? Like, how did that happen?
I think I've always, when I was a child, let's go back to that same thing. There was a show on TV, and it was about a woman, and it was in black and white and in a tent, and she was like a faith healer. And my mother, I remember I was lying up against my mom watching in the movie, and she says, I said, I want to do that. And she says, you can do it. You just have to believe it. You can do it. I'm like, okay.
Right.
And I think at that point.
Yeah, all our parents tell us that.
Yeah. I believe that I could heal. Like, I could heal. Like, I believe that I could touch somebody and heal. But I never thought it was anything special. I just thought, that's what you do, right?
Everybody can do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
And
so,
so do you have children? Are they gifted like you in that sense?
uh, my family doesn't really like, it's not their thing. They're all
It's
more
not.
attached to the material world, the what you can see and touch
Right.
kind of a thing. Yeah, I'm just way out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I'm
I
more
hear
like
you.
my grandmother.
Right.
Yeah,
So, like do you have your tarot cards? Can you show us?
yeah. I actually use the African tarot cards. I use
Hey,
the
by the
Newer.
way, I was born in Africa too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you look. Yeah.
Yeah. In Tanzania.
Oh, yes. I wondered because I knew it wasn't Indian, but you look. It's that African look.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So these are New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. Okay, and they're made by
Okay.
this woman in New
Can you hold
Orleans.
them? Can you hold them higher? Can you hold them higher? We can't see them.
Can you
Okay,
see?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Say,
so these are the ones I use. I've been using these for a long time. And I wish I could tell you the woman
right.
who designed them, but I can't remember her name offhand right now. And
That's okay.
I really connected with these cards. I use these, and then I have another one. They're called I forget the name of them, but these are also based on the African belief.
Right.
Adinkras, I
Yeah,
think
I see
they're.
that.
Yeah, and so I use these cards, and then I have a really old pair that are based on the First Nations Earth kind of shaman. They're so old though, but I like, these are the
Yeah, I
cards
see
that
those.
I'm comfortable with. And the African divination cards, like looking at where because I've been reading you, I'm just gonna use the cards to further the reading a little bit, okay? And see what message it comes up
All
with.
right.
Okay, so just kind of get back into
Sure.
your, where you're headed in the next while. Don't, just let go and hold that thought.
Okay.
It's like the ancestors are with you, so whatever decisions you're making, the ancestors are there. They're there to give you the gifts. They're there to receive, right? So you're working with the ancestors. Oh, and it's you have to make a sacrifice. So this is about connecting with the ancestors, but honoring the ancestors, making a sacrifice to the ancestors. So I see your beautiful yard there. So whatever you do, to for ceremony, just make sure that you give thanks to the ancestors sometime today. And so it says
Thank
you get a little
you.
depressed.
Thank you, ancestors.
There you go.
Right.
So what you're standing on is this is that she's not she's standing on a pedestal because she's trying to reach the higher energies, but and her mouth is zipped shut, and it's just that she's not in the right space. She's trying to get out of the slump that she's in and into a better space, right? So that one is what you're
Right.
standing on. But there's a lot of have you been ill?
I've been going through something. I'm not really sure if I'd call it being ill though.
Yeah. Is it?
I've been going through I think it's menopause basically.
Oh, menopause.
And it's really tough on me.
It seems like you've had some addictive patterns around you. It could be someone that you've let go of that's got some, that was like an addiction for you, but you're letting go of a lot
Yes.
of stuff. Yeah. But I get the feeling it's someone that
I have been letting go of a lot of.
yeah. And so you're a woman. This
I
shows.
have been letting go.
Yeah. You're connected to the earth. You're a strong woman. You're in tune with your environment. Um, you have the earth magic, but you have to watch out because if someone messes with you, you're gonna get them. So this shows that you're a good woman. You're solid. You're really connected to what you're doing, but you're determined, right? And you're going through a big cleansing. This is like the tower. It's like everything's being washed away. All the old stuff is going. So you're going.
Yeah.
So you're just letting go. And you're like, this is a good card. This is kind of where you're going. Is Papa Legba goes around the world and he looks at he explores and he lives and he comes back to the village and then he shares with the young children around the fire. And this is what you are. You're the teacher. You're sharing with people, right? You're giving of yourself and you're opening up their minds to other possibilities. And you're you're successful right now in this very moment. You have worked really hard and you are successful, like a farmer with a piece of land who had to do everything he could and hope the banks didn't grab it before he was done. You are successful right now.
Thank you.
There's 2 more cards. Wait. And this shows that you know how to play, you know how to have a good time, you balance yourself out. You're enjoying life. This is the hopes and the dreams. This is whatever you're going to do, you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun. And for the last one, there's a man. He's a good friend. He's reliable. He's trustworthy. He's honest. He's a really good person. And that's the last. Yeah. So does that resonate?
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, those are.
Yeah, it all resonates, actually, unbelievably so much.
Good.
And I'm feeling all those things to be true for sure. Totally resonates.
Good.
I'm looking forward to the future, for the next phase in my life very much. And I'm hoping that all those things fruition for everybody that you just mentioned.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, the world. Yeah, so
it is. And those tarots are they're very powerful, the imagery in them.
They are very powerful. I'm ready for a new deck, I think. These are a little bit more.
With like a new deck of the same kind, or
yeah, I like
altogether.
No, I have lots of tarot cards, but these are my favorite ones that I feel an affinity with them. Yeah. So
you gotta stick with what you feel an affinity with.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of tarot cards too. However, I haven't used them the way you're using them. I don't think I've been meant to use them the way you're using them. I've been meant to understand them and know what they're about. But I don't think I've been meant to work with others with them. I've been meant to work with others in a different way, I feel.
Nice.
And I guess it's bringing everyone together like I have been.
Yes. Yeah.
For the past while.
Yeah.
It's my strong suit.
That's good.
Anyway, so do you want to share with everyone? Thank you for the reading, and thank you, ancestors, for everything that you do for me and everyone else. Do you want to share with everyone the possibility of maybe you doing a workshop for them? Would you consider a workshop for our viewers?
The divination workshop you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that workshop. I do several different types of workshops. Um, I like to do goddess workshops, and just to help women to see how they can make the weak parts of, the parts that aren't strong within them, how they can use those as a stepping stone to move forward, right? And it's
Right,
understanding your dark side, and using your dark side to move ahead, right? Would be the goddess
right.
workshop. Yeah. Along with the
Well,
divination, that would
well,
be fun. Yeah, I can't
so
hear you.
like, can you, well, before you tell us about all the different workshops, I want you to tell us about all the different workshops and all the different things you do for us. But I wanted to ask you the question, like, in the tarot the reading you did, there was a lot of women imagery there. There's lots of female imagery there. And I'm a woman, so I imagine that's why those were drawn. And that's not necessarily going to be the case if it was a male you were doing the reading for. Is that correct?
You know what? I find that sometimes when I do readings for men, the woman will come up, and sometimes it's some women in their life, but sometimes it's the qualities that maybe they're holding on to feminine qualities, which is a good thing because it shows they're balanced, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yes. And sometimes I do readings for women and lots of men come up in the reading. Like it's just, I think um it depends on what you're doing and who you have in your life, whether the
Right.
woman or the man come up.
So then,
But
so the different bones and the different sections on the mat, did you create those yourself, or were you following a system that you learned?
I started to follow the system, and then I realized that to me it looked like an astrology wheel, so I added the astrology in with it. And I started to
Right,
study just a little bit, just the basics. I'm not deep into astrology. And then there's I put the different symbols to represent the different corners, like just to bring the magical uh, the magic element of magic into the mat. I added like different symbols on it, in the corners, right? And so it's a crossroads. So when you enter a crossroads, you're entering a different dimension, right? So I created it as a
right.
crossroads. Yeah, and that's what my mat is, actually like a door to a,
To
a
another dimension.
another dimension. It's taking you somewhere where you can look at your stuff from a higher vision, and pull. You
Vantage
have to
point.
get out of your head in order to figure your life out, right? You have to get
Right,
out of your body, out of this existence, to get a really good look at your life, right? And so that's what
right.
it does. It takes you
So
out.
you mentioned you meant right. So you mentioned the goddess workshop, and you said you do a bunch of workshops. Can you tell us about all the workshops you do?
Yeah, it would be the divination one, which is a fun workshop, and you would be creating your own mat, and I would gather as much as I can as of the bones, and encourage you to add to them, right? And just teach you the basics of divination. And
Right,
that would be like a creative workshop. And there's a mask making workshop where we're going to make a mask of your face out of mache, and that's going to we're going to do exercises to reach your darker side and bring it to the light. And when you make the mask, you're bringing your shadow side to the light. It's called Mask of the Sacred Shadow Self, right? And it brings that, and it's through
wow.
creativity. And then it's through writing a poem or a song or a dance or a paragraph about your shadow self. So it's a creative workshop. Again, it's tapping into your creativity. And then there's I do
Okay.
community workshops. It's about learning the history of Blacks in Canada and how we came from Africa and how we got to Canada in different areas from the East Coast to the West Coast. And that one's through music, dance, storytelling, real facts about history. And that's I've done that within the prison system. I've done it for the City of Surrey Museum. I've done that on the Sunshine Coast. I've done, so it's one of those community-based workshops, and it's good for nonprofits and things like that. Like it's not, it's one of those that, yeah, it depends on who wants it. I'm not. I'm.
So have you studied the spirituality of Kemet and all that?
I haven't studied that, no.
Okay,
I
was just curious.
Yeah.
Because it's an African spirituality that I was wondering if you'd studied it. I'd studied it a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because of my African roots, right?
Yeah.
And I was curious if you had.
Not yet, but I probably will Google it as soon as I get off the computer.
Well, yeah, I think you should, because a lot of what you're talking about is resonating along those lines too with me.
Yeah.
And then I was going to ask you about your 2 paintings in the back. Did you paint those?
Oh, I would like to share this one. This one, when I had my cancer, can you see that?
Yes.
I actually put this up. I put this up on the internet after I did it because I was doing my womb. This is my womb, I just wanted to. I knew that they were taking a lot of stuff out of my body, so I replaced it with this. And it's got magic symbols. It's the heart, which is the yoni. The African believe, when they draw a heart, it represents the female yoni. And the arrow represents the male. Right. Yeah. So, and then the grapes are fertility, and the white is purity. And this is like a vave. It's like a magical around it. And then this is what's her name? The Egyptian.
It's like a net.
It is. She's protecting me, right? And so, then this is for all seasons. This represents all seasons. This is the male energy, and this is the female energy over here. And so it's balanced. Cool. It's completely balanced. It's very powerful. Yeah. I put it up on my page, and I said, "This is my new womb," and it got 1,000 hits in no time. And Facebook took it down, and I can't even click on it anymore.
Why'd they take it down?
It was so weird. Oh, they wanted me to promote it through advertising or something. And I'm like, I'm going to advertise my womb? Like, it was weird. It was when they were going through all those changes. So I don't even know what happened. So I actually hadn't finished the painting. But after that, I thought, I'm just going to finish it and change it and not put it back on again. Unless I've got the copyright on it, right? Yeah, and this one is this is a vave. This is if you follow this is going to take you into there's different doorways to different dimensions here. It's like a dimensional picture. It took me a couple of years. Yeah, it just takes you like if you meditate on it, it's going to take you on a journey, right? Yeah. Yeah, I love painting. When I went to
fascinating.
Yeah, but I want to show you my shield. This is my personal shield, and this is an African. The blade is a fantasy. It's a fantasy blade. It's called a kapunga. It's an African blade, and it's got like several. So you throw it, and the serpent will direct it. And these will come out the shield, the point, so you're protected from all sides. But it's a spiritual protection. It's to protect myself on
Wow.
the spiritual level. So I did that when I was having the cancer, and I knew I needed to, feel safe. So I made this, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it's got
And
magical
so,
symbols.
but so would you say anybody can make a shield for themselves then?
Yes, yes. And I just added the magical elements, like it would be knowing, like the eight, it's 8-sided, which is when you do something 8-sided, you're taking it to the divine level, right? So you just have to know the
Right.
basics of magic. Magic is universal. It's mathematics, and you can tell this is all about mathematics. This one, because it's got it's got the
Can?
equal sides, and it's very methodical in
Right.
that way. Yeah.
Like a geometry. So
Yes.
talk to me about magic and your knowledge and experience of it a little bit.
I've been experiencing magic in so many since I was a child. Just things have happened to me. I've been seeing spirit. One time when I was about 13, I was walking home and I decided to cut across the field, and this man started to follow me, and I thought, why did I do that? Because it was late at night, and I started running, and he
Right.
started running after me, and he had on a trench coat, and I was so scared, and I started crying, and I heard these wings flapping like this, and I was picked up off the ground, and his voice said, "Don't be scared, you're going to be safe," and took me across the field to where I needed to be to get home, and said, "I'm going to put you down now. Don't look behind you, just keep running." And just before he put me down, I
Right.
looked, and the guy, as soon as I got picked up, the guy that was chasing me was about to grab me, and I turned and looked, and he was sitting on the ground looking up at me because he fell, because he missed me. And so I ran home after that, but I never told anybody about it because I thought, who's going to believe that I was flying, right? But it's been happening.
Wow.
Yes, it just just lots of, like, I've seen.
Oh, you were 13?
Yeah, I was 13.
You were 13?
Yes.
It's funny, see, just today we were on Facebook. I put up a video of somebody who put 3 forks in a triangle shape. And they
Yeah.
put a coin in the middle, and then they had 3 batteries on either side of it, the 3 forks. And when they brought the batteries closer to the forks, the coin started to rise and spin. And so I put it on my page, and people are like, is this fake? And I said, well, I don't know, but I like to believe the possibility that it isn't,
It
and
isn't. Yeah.
that coin is flying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I guess talking to you is confirmation that it's possible.
Anything's possible. So many things have happened to me.
Anything's
Yeah.
possible.
But it's a shaman's journey.
Yeah.
I've been on a shaman's journey my whole life, I feel like. Just from my life experience.
So when you say shaman's journey, do you consider yourself a
I
shaman?
do. I do.
And at what point in your life did you decide that? And how?
I think because the waking dreams that you have when you're out of your body and you're not dreaming.
Yeah.
You had those? Like,
Yeah.
I've had those where I have become animals, like different animals, right? And I could
Yeah.
touch myself, and I could feel that I was, this is who I was. And
Right.
I even proclaimed myself to be the spotted leopard woman because I thought it was a leopard in the dream, but there was snow on the ground. And then when I saw a film about snow leopards, I thought, that's what it was. It was the snow leopard, right? but
Right.
I was sick at that time, and the snow leopard came, and it was like it would think about being in the tree, and then it would be in the tree. And I thought, and I'm thinking, whoa, this is the weirdest thing. And then I think about something, and the leopard would be doing it. And I thought, I think this is a message that if I think myself healthy, I'm going to get well. And I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, nobody knew what was
Absolutely.
wrong. I had these big blotches on my face, and I thought I looked like a leopard. That's why I became the spotted leopard woman. And people said, they're never going to go away because you've got dark skin. It's going to scar. And I'm like, it isn't. And
That's
it
right.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't, right?
That's right. You have to have conviction. You have to have conviction when no one else does, right?
That's what my mother taught us. Don't believe what the doctors say. She said, you can heal anything you want. Don't let the doctors tell you anything different. And I've always believed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I think there's certain people in this world that naturally believe that.
Yeah.
And maybe we all naturally believe that and then forget it or something.
Forget it. Because
You know?
no, we're born with that reality. And then we were born into a fear-based world. And so we learn how to be fearful and live backwards.
But at the same time, we created that fear-based world, right?
Yes. Yes. It's our responsibility to not to bite into it. And
That's
not
right.
to live
We created
backwards.
it, so we got to uncreate it.
Yes.
Yeah, we created it, so we got to uncreate it, right?
Uncreate it. Yes. Yeah, well, we do that by making our environment safe, and when we go out, that people know that we're safe. You know, we feel safe, and then they will feel safe too, right?
Right.
Like this coronavirus scaring everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just.
I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday to today hasn't changed, even though there's a coronavirus, you know?
Yes. Yeah, life still goes on, right?
Life has to go on, so you can't, I mean, okay, so it's out there. I mean, there was a day when we didn't have cancer, and then it was there, and the possibility exists, but you got to keep going on.
You got to keep going on. You can't live for yesterday. You got to live for tomorrow, today, and think about
today.
You know, how today is going to take you into the next day, right? You know?
That's right.
Because living backwards gets you nowhere. You can't live backwards. Too many people live backwards.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Emotionally.
So
yeah.
I've kind of talked about your childhood. We've talked about the magic in your life and the psychic abilities, and we've also talked about your workshops. We've talked about your paintings. Is there something you want to share with everyone that I haven't talked to you about? Something that I've, neglected, or something that you want to share that I won't even think about?
I taught myself how to play the keyboards for the last 3 years, and I love music.
Awesome.
You saw me, I was playing my flute while
I love music.
And I learned how to.
Yeah, that's right. You were playing your flute.
Yeah, and I have a
Can you
drum.
play a little bit for us?
The flute? I'll see if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
This is the one it's a beautiful flute.
Well, first of all, what is that flute? Did you make it?
No, I bought it off of this girl was on Facebook Marketplace, and I was looking for one of these, and they're expensive, right? And so and plus I was reading reviews, and if you want to get one at a cheaper price, sometimes they crack and they're not really good. And so then I saw this on Facebook on Marketplace. It was beautiful, and it was like the price that I wanted to pay, and she got gifted a new one, so she was selling this at a really good price, and I thought, I asked her, I says, if I lived in Victoria, I would buy that right away. And she said, oh, I'm sorry that, you're not here. Maybe if I come to Vancouver, I'll bring it. Then the next day I texted her and I says, if I pay for the shipping, will you send it to me? And she says, yeah. And then she sent it to me the next day, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be mine. Isn't it beautiful?
It's gorgeous. That's amazing.
And it says on it,
And so
A minor, the heart song. It's called the heart song.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And that sounded beautiful. So did somebody teach you how to play that, or?
No, one time I found this really long flute and I used to carry that thing with me everywhere. I think I finally lost it somewhere. And it was just like, they called it my pipe, and I used to do sweats and they say, bring your pipe. Right? Yeah. And
I got this feeling that there was snakes in the room and they were going to come out of baskets really soon.
Yeah, the Kundalini, moving that Kundalini energy, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I've always loved flutes. I've got like three nice flutes that I play with. One's a Mexican one. This one's like from Mexico. This one, I'm not sure where it's from, and this one is the First Nations flute.
Right.
Yeah. So I learned how to play a song called Grandma's Hand by Bill Withers, and Google that song. It's a beautiful song about his grandmother.
You sing it?
Grandma's hand. Let me get the words. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill Withers wrote this song, I think, when his grandmother passed, to remember his grandmother's. Okay, so Grandma's hand clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hand played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hand used to issue out a warning. She'd say, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in the grass. Grandma's hand. I gotta do this. It's Grandma's hand to the local unwed mother. Grandma's hand used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hand used to lift her face and tell her. She'd say, baby, Grandma, understand that you really love that man. Put yourself in Jesus' hand, Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hand picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hand, boy, they really came in handy. She'd say, Maddie, don't you whip that boy. What you want to spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have Grandma anymore. If I get to heaven, I'll look for Grandma's hand. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
I've been playing that, learning that.
I'm so glad I asked you to share something I hadn't asked you. I love music too, and I sing in a choir, and I love to sing, and
Oh,
and
nice.
it brings me to life. And when I hear others singing and playing musical instruments, it just livens everything up. So
I
thank you for
love,
that.
thank you. I love that song. I've been singing it, thinking about my grandma for the last week that I'm learning how to play it. And it's the easiest song I ever learned how to play. I just go on, I Google it, how to play. And then I'll and if
Yes,
it's too
good old
hard, I
Google.
won't learn it.
Thank you, Google, for all that you do.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I was close to my grandma too, so I can totally understand that.
My grandma died
Yeah, I
when I
love
was
my
a
grandma. I
baby.
miss her very much too.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
my grandma died when I was a baby, but I was like the last baby that, at the time of her death, so she kind of used to. So my mom said when she died, I was sitting in the kitchen. She had all this diabetic. Was diabetic. She had all this special food, and I was eating all her food. At the funeral, everyone's like there, and I'm just sitting there eating all her food, right? But I felt like I've been told she's my guardian angel, and I can feel her around me.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too. I can feel my grandma around me too.
yeah,
She
yeah, it's
comes in
nice.
my dreams a lot, and yeah, she's sent me lots of messages and kept me sane when I was a borderline insane.
Yeah, that happens when you're
Kept
really,
me happy when I got sad.
yeah. Yeah, you can feel
Yeah.
crazy, especially when you're really psychic or you're really sensitive, when you have a breakdown, like it feels like
Uh-huh.
you're crazy.
Yeah,
It's,
it
yeah,
can. It can.
yeah, yeah.
But it's also your strength, right?
Yes, yes. It's the ability
So it's
to move past the dilemma and to
yeah,
know,
and you got to balance.
yeah,
And you got to balance.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Embers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this interview.
I really enjoyed interviewing you, and I'm hoping what we can do now is hopefully pick a few dates, and what we'll do is we'll invite people out to one or more of your workshops, and hopefully do some readings and get them to have a reading like I had with you today.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
mini reading too.
and that was a mini reading.
Yeah,
Maybe
that was
I'm going to ask you maybe a few more questions after we get off air here,
okay.
just
Okay.
just to dig a little deeper, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, because the bones are still on the table. So yeah, I didn't read them all.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Embers.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.